image with the parallel lines with the transversal, and then we're going to answer all these different relationships that are listed. So in this first one, they want 1 and 8, and I'm going to try and color code, but I don't have all these. There's 8 different ones here. I don't think I'm going to have 8 different colors, but I'll put some sort of marking on the angles that it's referring to. Excuse me. All right, so the first thing, actually, before I even try to answer any of this, I want you to understand when you have parallel lines and a transversal, these 8 angles, which 4 of these, okay, like if I start with angle 1, what angles are going to be congruent to angle 1? What other numbered angles? Well, the first thing we talked about on the front was vertical angles. What's vertical to angle 1? 4. Okay. Then we talked about corresponding. Which angles correspond to 1 and 4 at that other intersection? 5 and 8. So those are going to have to be the same as well. Okay, so those 4 angles are all going to be congruent to each other. And then the other 4, so 2, 3, 6, and 7 will all be congruent to each other. Do y'all see that? So before you even start trying to come up with pairs and name the pairs, you know which ones are congruent to each other and which ones are not. And the ones that are not congruent are going to be what? Look back at the front. If they're not congruent, what are they? They add to 180, okay? So the ones that have the same markings are congruent. If they have different markings, they add to 180 with each other. So like 1 and 3, we're going to add to 180. Or 1 and 6 will add to 180. Or 1 and 2. Or 1 and 7. Do y'all see that? You could pick any 2 angles here, and you should know if they're congruent or if they're supplementary. Okay, now, these questions over here do not all relate. It's like a new question. Okay, so we're going to answer 1, and then we're going to forget 1 and answer 2, because they don't all connect. Does that make sense? It's like a brand new question. Okay, so for number 1, they want us to look at 1 and 8. So I'm going to mark angle 1 and angle 8. Okay, these 2 angles. So we had those marked as congruent, didn't we? Okay, so I know if angle 1 is 130, 8 is going to be 130. But do you remember the name of the relationship? Why are those congruent to each other? Remember, the transversal is here. So when we say alternate or same side, we're talking about that transversal. So are those on the same side of that transversal or opposite sides? They're on opposite sides of the transversal, so that's alternate. And then are they inside or outside the parallel lines? They're outside, so that's exterior. So these are alternate exterior angles. And I'm going to abbreviate. And we put the full words on the front. Alternate exterior angles. Okay. Now it asks us to look at 4 and 6. Okay, so angle 4 compared to angle 6. So are those on the same side or opposite sides of the transversal? Same side. Are they interior or exterior of the parallel line? Interior. They're inside the parallel line. They're on the same side. So that's same side interior. Now, really quickly, just on the front, I realized I didn't mention this. The ones that say same side are sometimes called consecutive. So instead of same side interior, you could say consecutive interior. That's okay too. That means the same thing. Okay, but most of y'all are just going to say same side. All right, now let's look at 3 and 5. Okay, so angle 3 to angle 5. What about those two? What do y'all think? Are they on the same side or alternate sides of that blue line? Same side. Okay, are they interior or exterior of the parallel lines? They're same side of the blue, but are they inside or outside the parallel lines? Are they in between them or are they outside them? They're in between the parallel lines, right? The parallel lines are these two running horizontal. So both of these green dots are inside. So these are same side interior also. So this is a different set of same side interior. Oh, we didn't answer the angle measure for that last one. My bad. We'll go back to it. But for the green, it says if angle 3 is 50, what's angle 5 going to be? Are these supposed to add to 180 or be the same? Look at the markings we put on them at the beginning. Are they the same markings? No. So they're not the same. They're not equal. And even if you didn't put the markings, look at the size. This is angle 3 is acute, right? Less than 90. And angle 5 is obtuse. So I know they're not supposed to be the same. So these are supposed to add to 180. So what would add, what plus 50 would give us 180? 130? Okay, no, I forgot to do this for the purple one. So let's go back and say, we said those are same side interior. So that's the same relationship. These should add to 180. So if angle 4 is 112, what would angle 6 be? They have to add to 180. How do you calculate that? Yeah, you subtract 180 minus 112. What does that leave us with? 68. Good. All right, number 4 wants us to look at 2 and 7. So let's look at 2 and 7. So angle 2 to angle 7. What's that relationship? Are they on the same side or alternate sides of the blue? Alternate. Are they inside or outside these parallel lines? They're outside, right? So these are alternate exterior. And we said alternate exterior should be the same. And we have a marked congruent. So if 2 is 63, then 7 should be 63. Okay, let's try another. All right, angles 3 and 6. So let's look how 3 compares to 6. So the blue dots. Are those blue dots on the same side or alternate side of the blue line? Alternate, right? Are these blue dots inside or outside the parallel lines? Inside. So these are alternate interior angles. Now, alternate interior should also be congruent. Okay, that's an acute and an acute. Okay, so these should be equal. So if measure of angle 3 is 30, measure of angle 6 would also be 30. Okay, let's look at 1 and 7. So I'll do this in orange. So 1 and 7. What are those orange dots? Are they on the same side of the blue line? Yeah, they're both on the left. Okay, are they inside the parallel lines or outside? Outside. So same side exterior. Okay, same side exterior. Looking at them, 1 is obtuse and 7 is acute. So those should not be the same. They should add to 180. So what would add with 120 to give us 180? 60. All right, now they want us to look at 4 and 5 together and find a difference. All right, so angle 4 and angle 5. These kind of mint green ones that I just did. 4 and 5. What is that going to be? Alternate or same side? Alternate. Interior or exterior? Interior. Alternate, interior. Now those are supposed to be congruent, right? We can see that's how we marked them. We said they're going to be congruent. So if the measure of angle 4 is 141, then the measure of angle 5 is 141. All right, last but not least, it says 2 and 8. So angle 2, that's the top. A little too close of a color. Get a brighter yellow. Oh, that did not change. So angle 2 to angle 8 down here. So these are the yellow. So are those yellow? How are those related? Same side. Interior or exterior? Good. So same side. I don't know if you're going to see this yellow. I'll go over it in black. Same side, exterior. So are those supposed to be congruent or supplementary? So if no, angle 2 is 75, what does angle 8 have to be? 105. Good. They have to add to 180. All right. How do y'all feel about these relationships? You're starting to get the hang of it, you think? Okay, so next week, you have a 3-day weekend. I'm super jealous. I have to come to work Monday. You get to stay home in bed Monday morning. When you come back Tuesday, we're going to talk some more about these angle relationships with parallel lines and a transversal. And we're going to do some practice Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday, here's our calendar. Thursday, that is not our calendar. That's honors. Here's our calendar. Okay, so when you come back, we're going to spend a couple days practicing and working on this. And then we're going to take a quiz on Thursday and introduce the project using these angle relationships. Okay, you don't have a practice today, but what I need you to do is go back to yesterday's on the calendar where it says activity. This is that around the room rotation thing we did. You have to submit your answers. So if you click on this activity, or if you get to it through your to-do list or your assignment list, it doesn't matter how you get there, but you're going to get here to the 3.2 activity submission. Okay, and you'll see the problems. If you didn't finish, you can go back and do them. Okay, that's what you can spend the rest of class on, is finishing this activity from yesterday. If you did finish, get that paper out, because you have to come online to this and you have to put your answers in. A, B, C, D. What are they? Okay, so you're going to select A, B, C, D and submit. Now I want you to know that when you do this, you have multiple attempts. So when you submit it, if you don't get 100, it's going to show you your grade right away. If you don't get a 100, you can redo it and you don't have to redo the whole thing. It'll only have you redo the ones you got wrong. Okay, so you can pull those questions back up, get out some scratch paper and try again. Ask for help, use your notes, use Desmos. Okay, and then you can resubmit And then if you still have them wrong, okay, maybe you only still have one wrong. Maybe you got all but one right on the second attempt. You can retry that one last time. So I have it set to 3 submissions, 3 attempts. Okay, so you can keep getting that grade up as high as you can by the 3rd attempt if you don't get 100 on the 1st or 2nd attempt. Okay. All right, that's what you can do for the rest of class.